Hi, everyone. Welcome. My name is Tara, and this is Free Voice Lesson Thursday. I am a professional singer, vocal coach, music educator, composer, and content creator based in Brooklyn in New York City. And I started my content creation journey about a year ago, a little less than a year ago. And I learned very quickly that people are interested in music theory, knowledge, and singing technique, but this this information is often kept behind a high paywall. So I have started doing daily offerings Monday through Friday on both YouTube Live and on TikTok Live, sharing this knowledge with the general population because for one reason or another, it can be really hard to um, get musical information, whether maybe public funding was cut from your school when you were a kid learning music, or maybe you didn't have time or money for private lessons. So this time is for you. And today's topic is no topic. Okay. It's just a general Q&A. So if you're here hanging out on YouTube or on TikTok and you have a question about singing technique, or there's a technique that you would like me to go over, or if there's maybe some terminology you're not familiar with, or breath support or registers, this is just a general, hi Thina, this is a general Q&A. This time is for you. It's been a very busy week, so I can only be on about a half an hour. So if you have questions, go ahead and start dropping them in the chat right now. I'm also eating. Hey, thanks for the heart me. Hi Mab, how are you today? Also stealing some lunch right now, so please forgive me. I'm happy I was able to squeeze today's session in. If you're new here, I do music theory on Mondays, ear training Tuesdays, warm up Wednesdays, which is what my vocal warm up routine looks like as a professional singer. Then we have our free voice lesson Thursdays, which usually we have a topic, but today I'm just doing a general Q&A since I don't have a ton of time. And then on Fridays, we do Frequency Friday, which is like the soul piece of music creation, of being a creative person, whether that is, nervous system regulation, dealing with confidence, how to put yourself out there into the world. Okay. There is no Frequency Friday tomorrow, but we will pick up back again with Music Theory Monday next week. The way you can find these offerings is by going to my main page on YouTube or my profile on TikTok. On TikTok, you will see live events under my profile picture. Click on that, and all of my scheduled live events will pop up at the bottom of your screen in your time zone. Okay. The times change weekly. All right. I want to be able to reach people from all time zones. And also, I'm a freelancer, so I have to adjust based on my schedule. So go ahead and check out the events on my profile on TikTok, or they're also pre-scheduled lives on YouTube. You can click notify me on YouTube. You can pre-register on TikTok. Next week's sessions will be scheduled later tonight. Okay, so you can check back for that. Okay, let's see if we have any questions. Okay, we have one over here on TikTok. Could you maybe tell us more on how to figure out what type of voice you have? You struggle with high notes, okay? And Thena's asking, why is it generally that it's considered better to stand while singing? I consider it harder. Okay, so let's start with how to figure out what type of voice you have. And Brits, would you clarify for me a little bit? Do you mean vocal range wise, like what voice part you sing, like soprano, alto, tenor, bass, or do you mean more like how to classify like the timbre or the tone of the voice, like smoky or pingy or soulful? You could give me a little more information on what exactly you're looking for. I'm thinking you're talking registers and range because you said I struggle with high. I assume that means high notes. You said alto, so you mean like vocal parts. Okay. Well, knowing if you're a soprano, alto, tenor, bass, mezzo soprano, baritone. Um, so all of those different voice parts are really relevant when you're singing in a choir. I find that when I'm singing solo, when I'm singing leads, when I'm auditioning, that it's much more useful to actually know the notes, the specific notes of my range, because then I know, okay, I can sing. Oh, my piano's not on. Give me 1 second. I know no matter what shape my voice is in, I always have an F3 to at least a C6, which is the high C. So this, I consider myself a mezzo soprano because I'm most comfortable in the middle part of my range, okay? Even though I have soprano notes and I have some alto notes, right? On a good voice day, I maybe have down to a D or even a C, and I maybe have up to this high E6, okay? So you want to know your voice really well, especially if you're auditioning for things, so that you know where you can sing consistently and like where the little like extraneous ends of your range are as well. But I will say in general, let's see what Google has to say about it. Vocal ranges. Okay. Okay, so a quick Google showed us that if you were to be classified as a soprano, that the typical range for a soprano is between a C4, which is middle C, and a C6, which is high C. Okay, it seems like they're giving us 2 octaves for range. Okay, so soprano is the highest voice, this note to this note. Okay, alto. Let me see here. Mezzo, they're saying mezzo soprano is from A3 to A5. So that's just a little bit, about a third lower than a regular soprano. Okay, this is like the in between voice. And it's suggesting that these 2 octaves cover a mezzo soprano. Now for alto, alto is one of the lower female voices. There is something called a contralto, which is even lower. But it doesn't have a range for alto, but I'm going to say, I would say probably from an E or an F3, so one of these notes, to an E or an F4, so like these 2 octaves, low note, high note. Okay, if you can sing all those notes, you're likely an alto. Okay, tenor, it's suggesting from C3 to B4. I don't think that could possibly be right, though. That's a very small range. Tenor is a higher male voice categorization. I will say maybe from a C3 to a C5. Okay. Tenors do have to be able to sing quite high usually. Baritone is the equivalent of mezzo soprano in a male voice. Okay. It's lower and in the middle. And I'm going to suggest a baritone is probably like this G or F2, probably up to the G or F above middle C. And then last but not least, there are basses, and basses sing really low. And hopefully they can get up to middle C, but sometimes they can't if they have a very deep, rich voice. Did that answer your question? Let me know in the comments. Yes. So the word tempo, T-E-M-P-O, actually means the pace of the song, right? So like if a song is going 1, 2, 3, 4, that's a tempo. Hey, Jeffrey. Or a faster tempo would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. So tempo has to do with how fast or slow a song is going, and it's related to what we call beats per minute. Okay. Did I answer your question about vocal range? Let me know, please. All right. Tina's asking, why is it generally considered to stand while singing? I find it harder. So in general, we suggest standing while singing because it's easier to have better posture, right? So if you're standing, then your chest tends to be more open. You're able to take in more air. You're able to ground a little more firmly. But, suggestions are always suggestions. I'm not going to tell you you have to stand and sing if you feel more comfortable or you feel like you can get better sound when you sit. But I think in general, the reason that vocal coaches often say stand is because everything is a little more accessible. It's a little bit freer. I notice a lot of my students can sing higher when they're standing. They can belt louder when they're standing, right? Just because the breathing mechanism is more free. Okay. All right. If you're just joining us, welcome. This is a Q&A session about anything singing technique or music theory, anything singing with a professional singer based in New York City. That's me. Oh, I don't have my I don't have my little I'm a professional singer thing on my backdrop today. So welcome. You can also ask me questions about what it's like being a singer in New York City, how I got here. Like this is a general Q&A. So any questions that you have, I'm happy to answer. And if you would like to support me, there's many ways you can support me for free. I'm on TikTok Live. I'm on YouTube Live. If you're over on TikTok, hop over to YouTube and subscribe, please. I'm new to YouTube, so that's a great way to support me. Same handle at Resident Harmony Nerd on both platforms. Or if you go to my link tree, that can send you to my opposite platform. So if you're on TikTok and you'd like to help me out by subscribing to my YouTube, go to my link tree and it'll bring you right to my YouTube. You can like, you can share. Gifts are welcome on TikTok. You can double tap the screen to give me likes on TikTok or give me thumbs up on YouTube. If you would like to make a donation, any amount helps to keep Harmony Nerd content free. And that's at my link in bio too. There's a tip me button, which when you click on it, it'll give you access to Zelle, PayPal, Cash App, Venmo, all the things. Okay. All right. Any new questions? I haven't seen any new questions come in, so I'm going to eat a little bit of my lunch and wait while y'all type your questions into the chat. I'm flying to South Carolina in a couple weeks to do a gig, a wedding gig, singing in a wedding. And I'm moving like 3-4 days before the wedding gig. So there's a lot going on in my world right now. How are you all doing? Oh, sorry to make you watch me eat, but food's got to be had. Busy day. And I wanted to try to make sure I had time for this. So I can answer all your singing questions. Who's got a question for me? Okay. Let me ask you this then. I'll have a question for you, and based on your response, I'll start talking about some stuff. Would you rather me talk about my journey, how I got here, how I became a professional singer and music educator, or do you want to learn a singing technique? And it'll be like roulette singing technique, whichever one I pick. Or if there's a singing technique you want to learn, drop it in the chat. Now says the singing technique. Is there one you'd like to learn? I choose. Why don't we talk about resonance? Since resonance ties into registers, and we already talked about vocal ranges a little bit earlier. I got one bite left, so I'm going to finish here and then we'll get going. But if somebody wants to learn about something else, now is the time to drop it in the chat. Otherwise, I'm going to talk about resonance. What the heck is resonance? All right. So what happens when we sing? Right? We produce a sound from our throat. We can all talk too, right? So we know how to produce sounds. What's happening when we produce sound? Well, what is sound? Right? Sound is waves, sound waves. Okay. How do we create sound waves? Well, we have vocal folds. They're like a letter V. Okay. That lays on its side and it's right in here. Okay. And the tip of the V is towards the front of our throat and the opening of the V is towards the back. Okay. And we have a diaphragm in our throat. Actually, we have a diaphragm that is in our throat with our vocal folds. We have the diaphragm that everybody talks about in regards to proper breath support for singing, the diaphragm that closes off and seals the lung cavity. And then we have a diaphragm in our pelvic bowl as well. Okay, fun anatomy facts. So when we sing, what happens is our vocal folds that are this little V shape, they come together like this, right? And they vibrate and they press together. And when they press together, they make a sound. And, we also need the air flowing through in order to create the sound. Okay. So this creates vibration. Okay. And what resonance when we sing is where we want to send that vibration that we're creating in our throat. We can resonate in a lot of different places in the body. We can have chest resonance, which is often known as chest register. We can have mask resonance, which is this bony part here near your sinus cavity, okay, in the near the nose, okay. This is often used for mixed register, okay, and we call it mask resonance. And we have head resonance as well, which is often associated with head register or your higher voice, okay. Now, when we sing, you might have heard voice teachers talk about placement, right? And when we talk about placement, we're talking about this resonance. Where do we place this resonance while we're singing? And it kind of seems like an ethereal thing, but it's really amazing when you work on your mind-body connection, how you can move where the sound lives, okay? Does this make sense? Are there any questions so far? Okay, so if you're like, okay, I understand resonance, but placement is tricky to understand. It is really tricky to understand. And it's one of those things where you just have to allow yourself to keep trying until you figure it out if it doesn't come naturally for you, okay? Because we can place the resonance forward, right? That mask placement I was talking about, it might sound like this. I can place it further back. It might sound like this. I can place it lower. It might sound like this. I can place it higher in my head. It might sound like this. Okay. So if you have no idea how to do this, the first thing that you have to do is commit to not judging yourself. Okay. My most successful voice students are the ones who are willing to try things, the ones who are willing to play with sound. Okay. You can't be unwilling to try things and expect to become a better singer. It just doesn't work that way. Um, the weirder you're willing to be, the the more wild you're willing to try to do different things. The more wild you are, like the more discovery you're going to have. And I like to think about vocal training as like it's not about what sounds are good and what sounds are bad. As long as you're not doing damage to your instrument, there's really no such thing as a good or a bad sound, right? So what we're trying to do when we're training our vocals is we're trying to discover how many different types of sounds we can make. And then once we discover these sounds, we're trying to take inventory to understand, oh, okay, this is how I made this sound. I need to memorize that in my body so that I can create this sound um, at will. Okay. And then it becomes a tool. Then it becomes something you can add to your bag of tricks, a new way of singing that you can now add to your vocal repertoire. Tina says, I think placement is sometimes easier if I don't think about it too much, like feeling the music more. Yeah. Yeah. I think that a lot of times what makes singing so hard, especially when we're learning techniques and we're like in singing lessons, is that we get so in our heads, right? And singing is a full body experience. You need that mind, body, soul connection in order to be a well rounded singer. And if you're too in your head, then you're not in your body, right? And for many of us, I'm in the US, I'm American. And I know that US society really separates us from mind from body, right? So connecting with our bodies can be quite a challenge. I don't know what this looks like in other cultures across the world. Feel free to let me know in the comments if you're not also from the US, or if you are from the US and you feel something different where you live. But I had to really work to cultivate my mind body connection. I did it, started doing it through yoga, and I've used many other methodologies since then. But I couldn't believe what a better singer I became through yoga, through learning this mind body connection. So there's a balance, right? Because I do believe that we have the power with our mind and our thoughts to send sound to different places of our bodies, but we also have to be present in our bodies and feel the resonance in order to place it, right? You have to know what the resonance feels like in different areas of the body before you can choose where to place it. Does that make sense? Okay. So if you're new to placement, we love to do something called Messa di Voce exercises, MESSADIVOCE. It's an Italian phrase. And Messa di Voce we can apply to volume, placement. We can do these types of exercises with different singing techniques. Yes, it can be very subtle for sure. And the interesting thing is it can feel subtle in our own bodies too, but it could sound a lot different to other people. So it's a really important when you're learning to sing or when you're taking singing lessons to like make sure that you are paying attention and keeping track of what you can do and what's hard for you to do so that you can figure out how to help your body. How to help your body learn how to sing and then memorize, right? We once we learn a singing technique, we need to get it in our muscle memory so that we can call upon it whenever we want to. Okay. So these Messa di Voce exercises might look like this. Okay, I'm going to. One of the base realizations was not to power through everything. Yeah. Yeah, you don't want to force anything with the voice, right? We want to find it and then gently like invite our bodies to help us find new sounds. If you try to force, then everything kind of tenses, right? And tension is an enemy of a free singing voice. Okay. So I'm going to do that la on this F 4 again. This is the F above middle C. And I'm going to start with really forward resonance right up here in the mask of my face. This resonance is preferred for a mixed sound, a mixed voice sound. Okay. And notice how I said preferred, not necessary, preferred. Okay. And then you're going to see my hand move like this. And as my hand moves, I'm going to move the resonance back into my throat. Okay. And you are going to hear the change in the tone or the timbre. All right. So this is a messe de voce exercise, right? We're starting with one tone and we're moving to another, and we're covering all the gray area in between. All right. Okay. Could you hear all the different colors and tones that I moved through, starting forward and going back? Right. And we want to do it the other direction too. Okay. So now I'm going to start low. It's a little harder for me to move in this direction. I do it less. So that's why I place my fingers on the bridge of my nose to help cue from touch, right? That I was trying to send the sound here. So that's another really great tip too, is that if you're having trouble finding placement, or you can't figure out where the sound is coming from, use your hands for biofeedback. All right. Are there any questions on anything I just said? I do have to get going in the next 5 minutes. So if this is a general Q&A on singing technique, on anything music related. If you're curious about my career, I'm a professional singer based in Brooklyn. For those who don't know me, my name is Tara. Hi, welcome to the Harmony Nerd community. Join my email list. You'll get a free PDF on Vocal Harmony 101. Teach you some music theory and ear training if you've always wanted to sing harmony, but it's hard for you. Or if you know how to sing harmony, but you're curious how it works, maybe you just sing it by ear, then that PDF is for you. Okay. Do we have any other questions, friends? Friends. Yeah. Do we have any requests for Music Theory Monday? Are there any music theory terms or techniques that you would really like to learn next week? And if you can't join me live, it's okay, because all of these live sessions, even if I'm on TikTok, they all get reposted to YouTube. Okay. So if you go to my YouTube page, which is the same handle, you can find it in my link tree. I'll send you right there. There's a Music Theory Monday replays playlist. There's there Ear Training Tuesday replays, Warm Up Wednesday replays, Free Voice Lesson Thursday replays. This session will be on that Free Voice Lesson Thursday replay list as soon as we're done here, right? YouTube processes it and then automatically reposts it. So anything that you want to go back and rewatch or work with, you have that option to work with the replay. But I do not have a topic for next week's Music Theory Monday or Ear Training Tuesday. Oh, Ear Training Tuesday, we're doing descending intervals for Vocal Harmony 101. But I don't have a plan for Music Theory Monday yet. So if there's something you want to learn, let me know, and I can tailor that lesson. Tina says, what do you think is the thing that makes some songs so touching singing wise? I think probably the performance, right? Because you can hear the most moving piece of music, but if the singer is disconnected from their performance, chances are it's not going to move you in the same way, right? Just the opposite too, right? You could have a pretty average or mediocre singer, but if they're really putting their heart and soul into it, you could really feel that performance, right? It's a funny question that you asked that, Dina, because I feel like I am a very good singer. Obviously, I've been doing it professionally for over a decade. But I definitely work with singers who are more technically proficient than I am. And I think the reason that I am still on the stage with these people who are technically better singers than me is because of my performance chops. I'm very good at connecting and also reaching an audience and really feeling what I'm performing. So while other singers are doing riffs and runs like Beyonce, and I'm not doing it, but I'm really a really genuine performer. So that'll just give you an idea. I've been able to make a career off of that, right? Like it's really important to know your strengths and to know your weaknesses too. I can do riffs and runs, but I have to work for them. They don't come naturally to me, right? And that's okay. Somebody asked, I'm not really an R&B singer. I can do it, but you might want to actually hire an R&B singer if it's just an R&B set. Um, but I will sing the hell out of it. I will mean it when I sing it. So, but I do think, Dina, also there is like music theory. There's a music theory answer to that question as well. The thing that makes some songs so touching, right? It's like there are certain musical intervals and techniques that are like they pull on our heartstrings, right? And this is all just because we've been trained for that, right? Like this is Western music that we're talking about. Eastern music, it has completely different scales. So what is considered pulling the heartstrings in Western music might not be the same in Eastern music. In Western music, we tend to consider major happy and minor sad, but that is unique to Western music. So the things that maybe pull on our heartstrings, music theory wise, are there. We're trained to feel that way about it. We don't come out of the womb necessarily feeling that way about music. Um, but I think that what we talked about singing wise is universal, right? No matter where you're from, no matter what scale you're singing in, no matter what kind of music you're singing, if you're feeling it, we can feel that. The audience can feel it, right? I don't think it's something that people can fake. I think that humans really can easily spot when other humans aren't fully in it. We have good bullshit meters. Yes, there are strategies technique wise, but some people have an amazing connection. Yeah. Yeah. I think too, it also applies to when you hear an amazing singer and they think they're really amazing, like you can feel that energy too, right? Like you can feel somebody's ego when they're performing if they're making it about them. And I honestly think that that is why I get through to audiences and I can connect with them so well, is because when I sing, it's not about me, it's about the connection. It's about creating the atmosphere in the room. It's about, bringing the party if that's what I'm hired to do. It's not about me. I have this instrument that I've worked on. Fantastic. Let me sing a song for you. But at the end of the day, I don't need you to come up and tell me I'm good. I know I'm good. I've been doing this for 15 years almost. Like I wouldn't have the opportunity to do it if I wasn't good at it. So like I don't need my ego stroked in order to do my job. And I think that people can sense that when I perform versus somebody who thinks that they're better than sliced bread. You can kind of sense their ego coming off of them when they perform. There's also what we what we call, there's like generous singers and selfish singers, right? I consider myself a generous singer. You want to take lead, go for it. If it's a song I really like, I'm going to ask if we can share it, maybe split the leads, but I'm not the singer that's going to rip the microphone out of another singer's hand. They exist. I have worked with them. I try not to work with them, but they're out there. Yes. Yeah, it is the energy. Listen to the song instead of look at me. And the thing is, once you grab your audience too with the like, hey, let me share this song with you, then you can have these moments of like, look at me, but it's still super fun because you're just like, we're playing together. And I also like, I always connect with my audience because like we're in this room together. It's a live performance. I'm a live singer more than like a recording artist, although I do record projects if anybody needs vocals for projects. I do that freelance. Um, I have totally lost my train of thought. But oh yeah. Yeah, just saying like, if I perform as if this is our secret. Like we're best friends and you're in this room right now. So like everything that's happening is just between us and like creating that kind of connectivity and um like intimacy through performance is super fun. So, does anybody have any other questions? I got 3 minutes. 1, 2, 3. Signing off at 4:20 p.m. Eastern Time. When I was younger and I had more of the look at me ego energy performing, I got a lot less work than I do now that I've kind of settled into who I am as a vocalist and connect. I will say though, I stopped dyeing my hair blonde a few years back, and they definitely prefer blondies in the industry, which isn't surprising, but also is pretty stupid if you ask me. But nobody asked me. Tritone. The Simpsons. Is tritone what you want to learn about Music Theory Monday? Is that why you said that, Jeffrey? Maria, I just met a girl named Maria. Those are two examples of tritones, also known as an augmented fourth. The devil's interval. Sounds evil, but only in Western music, because we've been trained. 6 half steps. Tritone. I probably will not focus on tritone in Music Theory Monday. Thank you for the suggestion. But we can definitely throw it in there. I won't do a whole session on it, but we can do a little bit on it. Remind me if I forget, please. All right, my loves, I am signing off. I have a busy evening. This whole week has been busy. I'm really looking forward to the weekend. Lots of celebrations this weekend. I have lots of birthdays and some family coming to visit. I could not pay people to get to Brooklyn to visit me, but now that I'm moving at the end of the month, everybody wants to come visit. And I'm like, y'all, I need to pack. Cool. All right, my friends, I will see you on Monday. Let me pull up my calendar quickly and let you know what time I think I'm going to do it, because Mondays are busy. Okay, so it'll probably be scheduled for like 11 a.m. Eastern Time. All right, and I will schedule it. You can make them help. I know. I told them, I was like, you can come visit, but you have to pack at least 1 box. So it looks like we will be, I'm not staying in Brooklyn for the summer. I'm going to travel in and out of the city for my gigs. I need a break from the cost of Brooklyn. It's too expensive, like all of the US right now. But it's the pressure here is a little too much, especially because live music bookings are down and the cost of everything is up. So something's got to give for me. And it's this apartment that's going to give $3,000 a month, baby. Pretty wild. Okay, so it's looking like Music Theory Monday will be at 11 a.m. Eastern Time on Monday. Okay, I will schedule that later this evening so you can pop on and be notified for upcoming live streams on YouTube, or you can pre-register on TikTok. Okay. And I should have a full week of offerings again next week. Thank you, everybody, for bearing with me while I move and kind of have sessions and cancel sessions. And we'll be back to a regular schedule by the middle of April, but the next few weeks will kind of be here and there. So just keep your eye on my profile for more information. And thank you for being part of the Harmony Nerd community. My name is Tara, your resident harmony nerd, professional singer in New York City, as well as a vocal coach, composer, content creator. Thank you so much for being part of the community, and I will see you so soon. Take care. Bye-bye.